Today is part 2 of self-determination theory, and this is about the spectrum of motivation. In case you missed the last video, self-determination theory was developed by psychologists Edward, Deci, and Richard Ryan. Today I'll break it down so you can use it to build sustainable motivation in your life. Motivation isn't just a one-off. It exists on a spectrum, ranging from completely external pressures to deep internal drive. And here's the thing, your motivation can fluctuate over time, and that's okay. What matters is that you stay motivated in some way, because as long as you're moving forward, you're on the right path. At the lowest end of the spectrum, we have amotivation. This is when you feel no drive to act. You don't see the value in something, so you disengage. It's like trying to work out when you don't believe the exercise will help you get stronger. If you're looking to move out of amotivation, identify where in your life you feel amotivated and ask, what is blocking me? As you ask that question, drop in to your inner body and feel any emotional resistance. Next, we have external regulation, when motivation is purely based on external rewards or avoiding punishments. You go to work just for the paycheck, you hit the gym because your coach says you have to. While it works short term, it might not be sustainable. An example for young students is like doing homework only to avoid getting grounded by your parents. The action step here is a simple shift in your mindset by finding personal meaning in what you do. So ask this question: what do I value? And again, this answer won't come from your head. You have to listen to find the answer. Now we move to introjected regulation. This is when motivation comes from guilt, shame, or obligation. You're not doing it because you want to. You're doing it because you, quote unquote, should. Two examples of this are maybe you're on scholarship and you have to show up to these workouts or else you lose your scholarship. Or maybe you're feeling guilty to skip a workout, even if your body needs the rest. So if you're moving towards intrinsic motivation, the action step you can take here is ask yourself, am I doing this for me, or am I doing this just to avoid guilt? To simplify this, we call this a choice point. Am I moving towards what I value, what I love, or am I doing this because I fear the outcome? Now, we're getting closer to true self-motivation. Next up is identified regulation. This is when you recognize the value of what you're doing. You may not love every second, but you understand why it matters. The trick I like to use to remember this type of motivation is that I've now identified of what it means to be a runner or a student. For example, I'm running because that's what runners do, or a student studying because they know that education will help them long term. So the action step here is write down why your goal matters to you. Or you can do a values sort from acceptance and commitment therapy. There's an easy online one to take at thinktoperform.com. So now that we're beginning to align our identity with our motivation, we're reaching integrated regulation. This is when the behavior becomes part of who you are. You don't just run, you see yourself as a runner. You don't just eat healthy, you identify as someone who prioritizes wellness. So this is like a musician practicing, because music is a part of their identity, and practicing every day is just what musicians do. So the way to use integrated regulation is to integrate yourself with that identity and ask yourself the question, how does this action align with my identity? And finally, at the highest level, we have intrinsic motivation. When you do something purely because you love it. There is no external reward. It's fun, fulfilling, and deeply satisfying. Many of us have long forgotten this, but this is like you as a child playing your sport for fun or an instrument for the joy, not for the game and not for the recital. The best way to build intrinsic motivation in our life is identify where in your life you already experience intrinsic motivation and begin to nurture it. To recap, You can use this spectrum to leverage any form of motivation to help you reach your goals. Remember, your motivation may shift at times, and that's completely normal. The key is to keep moving forward, no matter where you are on the spectrum. The closer you get to intrinsic motivation, the more sustainable and fulfilling your drive will become. As long as you stay motivated in some way, you're moving in the right direction. If this resonated with you, hit the like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more content on mental performance and motivation. And if you want personalized coaching, check out my website and my calendar link below. Thanks for joining today's session, and take good care.